You're listening to iCannabisRadio.com.
Hello and welcome to In the Lab with Genifer. I feel like I haven't been here for weeks and it's only been 2 weeks. Jill, did you miss me?
Oh, I missed you so much. You have no idea.
Liar, liar, pants on fire. Just kidding. Anyway, first I'd like to start this session out thanking all my amazing sponsors. Without you guys, I wouldn't be able to do this radio show that seems to have touched a lot of people, which I'm super excited about. I'd like to thank Blue Sage Microbes, amazing soil and product for your grow. Please check them out at bluesagemicrobes.com. Cannapunch, an amazing infused beverage. Avita, which is an amazing dispensary. Medically Correct, that makes Incredibles, incredible chocolate bars. They just came out with a Peach Dream, super yummy. Of course, Dixie, which we're here with Christie Lunsford to talk about their topical line. The Farm, an amazing dispensary in Boulder. And Canasure, all the insurance you could ever want for this industry. Please make sure you check your policies and double check with them because a lot of people that are under policies aren't covered and don't know that. I actually just learned that, which is very crazy. And to say thank you so much, everyone, for submitting such great comments and questions. We love them here. And to, again, talk about our contest. So our contest is, what did you learn? And every radio show. Sorry, I'm a bit under the weather. Every radio show, Jill comes up with 3 amazing questions that you'll have to listen to the radio show to get. And then you send your answers in to Genifer at canlabs.com, Genifer at canlabs.com, CANNLABS.com. And if we get more than a few people with the right answer, then we'll go ahead and take a drawing. Nobody in the industry can participate. I'm so sorry. But you will win 2 tickets to fly out to Colorado April 19th, 20th, and 21st for the 3rd annual Medical Cannabis Cup, but the 1st annual Legalization Cup. So anybody 21 and over is welcome to enter. And I'd like to thank Blue Sage for the plane tickets. And if somebody wins in Colorado, we'll figure out plan B for that. That's totally fine. You can be in Colorado and still win. I'd like to thank the clinic with 5 locations across Colorado. They are sponsoring the hotel room. And Atmos. Atmos is a personalized vaporizer company, and they are donating 2 tickets to the Cannabis Cup. So thank you so much for everyone. And I do believe we're going to be wrapping that up the first week of April, right?
April 1st is
April
going
1st?
to be
Okay.
the show with the last set of questions.
Okay. So we got that. And, of course, my lovely co-host, Jill, is here.
Hi, everybody.
And we have Christie Lunsford from Dixie.
Hey, Jen. Hey,
Hi.
Jill.
Hi.
And we have Mark Testa, who is a chiropractor and is also very versed in topical medicine and such. Say hello.
Hi, ladies. Good to be here.
Great. All right. So, Jill, how was last week?
Last week was good. We talked all about hemp and the hemp remediation project, and it's kind of good to talk about this kind of non-controversial issue when we're still going through the Amendment 64 task force and all its chaos. Hemp is something that everybody should agree on. So it was good to learn more about that project and all of the opportunities that hemp provides the state and the country, well, the world, actually.
Who was against hemp besides DuPont? I mean, really.
Well, Christie can probably answer.
Christie, please
do you want the
tell me.
conspiracy theory version?
Do you want the conspiracy version?
I do, absolutely, because I haven't heard it.
Well, there are a lot of industries who'd want to keep hemp down.
Sure.
Ideally, the pharmaceutical industry, the petrochemical industry, even publishing. Hemp originally became illegal because Hearst had 300 million acres of forest he wanted to cut down for publication, when the same amount of, say, magazines or newspapers could have easily been manufactured from hemp, which can grow the same amount of paper manufactured in newspaper manufacturing as a whole forest. Like 1 little acre of hemp equals a whole forest. So, if you own a rainforest in Brazil that you're cutting down for paper and the U.S. is suddenly farming hemp, it interferes with your opportunity to cultivate.
And isn't that what started really all the propaganda back in 1930, right?
Absolutely.
DuPont and the rest of the companies that, didn't want anyone else.
New plastics were coming around, and basically prohibition for alcohol had ended, and we had a lot of law enforcement that didn't have jobs. And Henry Anslinger and the DuPont family and the Hearst family and the Rockefellers, sadly, they all got together. And this is what the history books currently say. So
Sure.
They got together and they tricked all the farmers and the doctors into making cannabis illegal. And what they were really interesting point was they were really after hemp, but they used cannabis to get to hemp.
Sure.
And
easier.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
If you're going to misinform an entire generation of Americans, that's the way to do it, is the bait and switch.
It's incredible to me and how deeply this propaganda runs. I mean, it's still like I catch myself thinking something and I'm like, what? Wait a second. It's just so ingrained in the brain. So, well, please tell me, let's talk about topicals. So basically we've talked about growing and we've talked about hemp and extractions and edibles. And now I'd like to talk about topicals, something that I am very unfamiliar with. I know that I've used the snake oil.
It's a tincture.
Yeah. This snake oil. Oh, no, that's the dewdrops.
Right.
Anyway,
I didn't bring a snake oil.
Snake oil
sadly.
comes. It looks exactly almost like this with the green bottle. But I'll tell you what. I think I had a shoulder. It was either shoulder pain or back pain, and I put that on there, and it was amazing. My question is why infuse cannabis? What does cannabis do to allow better topical stuff?
Absolutely. So why cannabis? And as a matter of fact, why hemp for that matter? Both cannabis and hemp share the same plant constituents of THC and CBD. And humans and most mammals have an endocannabinoid system built over their peripheral nervous system. Within your peripheral nervous system, you have cannabinoid receptors. And let's say that my wrist is in pain. I rub on the salve, massage lotion, something like that. The theory behind how and why the medicine works is it hooks on to the peripheral nervous system and it stops the chemical signal from your brain going to the area of injury.
Oh.
So it's a muter. We have several different delivery systems at Dixie, and I'm proud to say that these formulas were formulated by our clinical herbalist, Deanna Gabriel, who's a dear friend of mine. Most of these formulas were actually made at my dining room table. So
That's super awesome.
When we started this product line. So we've got a salve, which is the traditional formula for a pain relief product. And we have this in 3 different formulas right now. We've got the Dixie Topicals THC infused formula. We are launching the Dixie X half THC, half CBD formula.
Oh, great. Okay.
For around $420 this April. And then we also have Dixie Botanicals, which is a CBD formula from hemp. And Jill, I see you smelling the product. We have formulated it with an essential oil blend that also helps to have some analgesic properties, and it just makes it a little less cannabis-y as far as the smell is concerned.
Sure.
There are many people who, secretaries or mechanics, massage therapists who work with their hands a lot, and these are ideal remedies for them. Elders who have arthritis. It's ideal. So we've got the salve.
Okay, so what? Okay, I guess let me finish up the line, and then I'll get my question.
Okay.
Sorry,
No
I jumped
worries.
the gun.
No worries. So there's a salve,
Okay.
which is incredibly easy to transport.
Okay.
There's a massage therapy oil in the Dixie Topicals, and this is ideal to take to the massage therapist. It is an olive oil blend. We use all natural ingredients. These are handmade topical products. This isn't made on a manufacturing line. The lotion I actually use as a pain relief. It's a pain relief lotion, but I actually use it as my body lotion.
Your body lotion?
Yeah, just because I know for the price, I can't buy anything more natural than what Dixie makes at Whole Foods, honestly. So
Sure.
And then there's the snake oil, which men seem to prefer, or people with a slightly oilier skin. You spray it on, rub it in, and it's amazing pain relief. And then probably by far my favorite product is our cannabis-infused bath salts.
Salts.
Yeah. So we worked for 2 years on the bath salts. And when we got it right, we got it right. If you're in pain and you take a bath with these bath salts, it is amazing pain relief. And you can use these with other cannabis therapies. You can use this with smoke therapy. You can use this with edible therapy. Because there's no psychotropic component to these products.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
So everyone's question is, when I use topicals, am I going to get high?
Well, let's be honest. We could make them so they would make you wicked high. But we choose not to because we perceive the Dixie Topicals as a therapeutic product line. And we want to make this kind of pain relief available to anyone during the day or during the evening as well. So, no. And, anecdotal drug testing as well, that's a question I get a lot. If I use the bath salts, if Granny uses the lotion, is she going to pass her drug test? And I can tell you that I drug test periodically from time to time, and I do not test positive.
Okay, and you use quite a bit of a lot of these products. So.
These topicals are kind of my baby.
Right.
So I use one or more products per day, and I'm still testing negative.
Okay, good.
So,
That's
and
good to know.
obviously, I'm not indulging in any smoke therapy right now. So
Right.
So,
But you don't even, use cannabis. So that was...
I use it topically.
Well, topically, I'm so sorry. Smoke therapy is what I was going to say, yes. And then what is the difference between that and the Dixie X right there, or the botanicals?
So the Dixie X product is going to be launched as a half THC, half CBD product line. So Dixie Therapeutics, this is THC from cannabis.
Okay.
Dixie X will be THC from cannabis and CBD from hemp. And then the same salve, but in the Dixie Botanicals product range, which is essentially a different company from Dixie Elixirs, this will be CBD from hemp exclusively. And that's the one that you can buy and have shipped anywhere in the U.S. At DixieBotanicals.com.
And how will people, what's an easy sign for people when they go to your website, how to decipher the X from the THC to the non-THC? Let's just say that.
That's a really great question. The Dixie therapeutic line has a root system in the label, and it's Dixie Therapeutics, Dixie Topicals.
Okay.
The Dixie X is the very graphic black with the white X.
Okay.
And then the Botanicals has a green label, but it's a different website altogether. And those are the products with hemp in them.
With just hemp.
Just hemp, just CBD. And they're legal in all 50 states.
Okay, perfect. Well, with that, we need to go to break, and then we'll be back to talk to Mark. Thanks. Blue Sage Microbes unveils the ultimate in superior soil, Ideal Soil, a 16-quart bag of the best growing soil ever engineered. Superior plant health and vitality is a direct result of the structure and chemistry of your soil. How good is your growing soil? Is your growing soil really balanced? How do you know? Well, Blue Sage Microbes has a newly designed growing soil that is the most advanced growing medium ever offered for cannabis cultivation. This is the only brand in the marketplace that provides growers with an ideal soil structure designed to work specifically with their cultivation systems. You will have your best grow results ever. Call now for a special introductory offer, 888-959-8551, or log on to bluesagemicrobes.com and experience a new level in growing. That's 888-959-8551.
The chocolatiers at Incredibles are dedicated to crafting the finest chocolate from high-quality ingredients to ensure the greatest possible medicated edibles in the world. Consistency and quality are top priority. Lab testing on each and every batch. Rick and Josh have been making non-medicated chocolates for years for such retail outlets as Whole Foods and Vitamin Cottage. Today, we are focused on crafting our award-winning medicated Incredible chocolate bars. We are professional bakers, and we believe food should be made from scratch. We guarantee your satisfaction. Have an incredible day.
I'm Gary Johnson, and you're listening to iCannabis Radio, and I want to say, talk it up, Colorado.
And we're back. All right, so we were just kind of talking about the different Dixie lines. And again, hemp and cannabis are from the same Cannabis L sativa plant. The way they got those names is cannabis suggests a higher THC, and then hemp is a lower THC. But again, it is the same plant, same genus or same kingdom.
It's the same kingdom, and I think
genus.
Genus, but a different species within the genus.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
if you look down the categories of how they're named scientifically.
Okay.
I'm no botanist.
No problem. I just wanted to let people know that, because I still guarantee that some people think that it's completely different, and it's not. So
They're different in the fact that they have different ratios of the constituents, and they look different.
they look really
In
different.
fact, hemp is actually called the anti-marijuana, because if you smoke hemp, CBD gives you a very bad headache.
Very bad headache. Thank you very much. And that's what I was trying to tell dispensaries. I'm like, if you find that you have a high CBD strain, you need to make it into a product. People usually don't like to smoke it. That's very interesting that you said that. And it's also very low so far. It's been very low yielding, and it's raggedy kind of looking. It's not as pretty.
Very tall, scraggly plant.
Scraggly. That's a perfect word. Scraggly. So what are some other questions you get from, I know you guys get calls constantly. What are some of the other myths and stuff that maybe you could clear up?
Absolutely. Actually, Mark just had some
great.
really great questions.
Perfect.
Mark, could you tell us who you are and where you practice?
Yeah, my name's Mark Testa. I practice chiropractic and acupuncture in Denver. I've been practicing for about 23 years. And certainly in my field, we can't use prescription drugs. And so I've been a long-time proponent of holistic care, herbs, food, exercise, et cetera. So, and topicals I really like as well. One of the reasons I like topicals is because you can take 1/10 of it and still get an effective dose because it doesn't have to go through the liver.
Okay, repeat that again.
With topicals, at least this comes out of the pharmaceutical world.
Okay.
You can take 1/10 of it.
1/10
So like
of it, really?
estrogen patches, you can take 1/10 of it, and because it bypasses the liver detoxification,
Okay, right. That makes sense.
you can take a lot less of it. So I'm looking forward to the patch.
It's kind of ironic that you would mention that because
I was thinking about a patch too a few weeks ago. I'm not gonna lie.
Would that be open in public consumption, though?
Oh, stop.
not if
Put
you
it
had
under
a
your-
long sleeve shirt on, no.
Put it under your white
was
undergarments.
I was just there this morning.
Just
so
kidding.
We were debating what that means.
I know. Sorry.
So we do have a scientific division at Dixie, and I can't speak to any specific product or when it may or may not launch, but a THC patch in medical cannabis and potentially in adult use cannabis is definitely on the horizon.
Good. That's great. Exciting. Yeah. Now, I have a couple questions because I do have a lot of patients. I had she's 79 who was in my office last week, and she wants to try, and she has tried medical marijuana and has had great results with it. And so some people ask me about topicals. And so will you explain to me so I can explain to her the difference between, like, when would you use CBD versus THC or some of the blends like you have, the 50-50 blends? Because I get those questions and I really don't know the answers to, how to direct them the best way.
Certainly. So for essentially anyone who's not in a legal cannabis state, whether it's medicinal or recreational, needs to take a look at a cannabinoid CBD product from hemp in the form of something like Dixie Botanicals, because that's more appropriate, not only because we lab test at Can Labs with the product, but it allows them to be legal. Okay, So in a medicinal state like Colorado, really, if you had your selection to choose between all of these, for delivery systems, there's more opportunities with the Dixie therapeutic line that has the THC. For me, I'm very excited about Dixie X coming back out with a THC CBD 50-50 ratio.
Me too.
Yes. Because what we've found and what the medical research studies have found, that it's the synergy between THC and CBD working together that really helps to affect the pain relief.
Yeah, I could see that. It's like the difference between white bread and whole wheat, right? You get much more
completely
good chemistry when everything works together.
And that's not to say that the THC alone is ineffective, because it's incredibly effective. But the CBD in these products, it lab tests out as maybe 1 or 2% versus the Dixie X, which will have a 50-50 ratio.
Mm-hmm.
Which again is why cannabis is so effective, is because it is like an orchestra, if you will. There's a lot of different cannabinoids, whereas pharmaceuticals is one mechanism. Mm-hmm. This is a lot of cannabinoids. And can you just imagine when we start, since we're not fully growing for THC, hopefully anymore, that how many cannabinoids might come back into the mix?
What I'm really excited about in the upcoming years is learning more about CBN and the other cannabinoids that make up both hemp and the plant we commonly refer to as marijuana, and the pain relieving qualities that those can have, and also the potential benefits they may have for other illnesses such as epilepsy, such as MS, and certainly such as cancer as well.
Yes.
So I've got an arthritic joint. You mentioned something about our joints, hand stuff. Which one of these would be best, and can I try it right now? Can we try that on the air?
Absolutely.
Is it okay?
It's actually
totally
legal. It's totally legal in the state of Colorado to share or give or whatever. You just can't buy or sell unless you have a red card.
Okay, perfect.
So I would have you try the pain relief salve. Essentially, the massage oil is the stronger of the 3 topicals, but this is a little bit more portable. When we were out sourcing raw plant material a couple years ago, I met a grower whose thumb had pretty much atrophied into a right angle, and while we were at the grow chatting with him, he wrote it on his thumb, and he could immediately have some rearticulation with the thumb. It actually audibly popped just from him moving it. And hopefully you'll have a similar experience. But as you can feel, there's a little bit of a texture to it. I'm not certain if you're familiar with lobelia at all,
yes,
but we use lobelia as an assist to the cannabis plant. They're companion plants. And then, obviously, some essential oils, some beeswax.
Now, I practiced in Boulder for 14 years, and all that did was make me a bigger skeptic about natural medicine than anything.
Really?
It did. It really did.
Wow.
It did. But I have to say, I rub this joint on a free because it hurts, and it hurts to rub. And I've been rubbing it 30 seconds. I'm telling you, the pain is it's 80% less right now to rub it. Really, could it be that fast?
It could be.
It could be, yeah.
And it's the interesting moment here is it's the manipulation of rubbing the salve in or the massage oil on, or if you're using the bath salt, sitting in the bath water that helps the skin pretty much absorb.
Right? Okay.
Yes. So getting it through the epidermis is the most significant barrier, if you will. Obviously, your skin is the largest organ, and it eats whatever you put on it. So through that mechanical manipulation of rubbing it, and just I can see the difference in your skin. It's a lot brighter from the blood circulation as well. But that's just the simple elegance of cannabis as a topical remedy.
It's really amazing. But let me ask you this, though, because, again, I've worked with medical doctors a lot, and a lot of the drug companies now are coming out with topical things, anti-inflammatories that they mix in with penetrants like DMSO. And we always used them on more superficial joints, like the hand, like the shoulder, not the shoulder joint, but the AC joint, the acromioclavicular joint. Not so much on the low back. And you explained earlier that some of these receptors on the peripheral nervous system are affecting this. I think also, and tell me if you agree, on these superficial joints, the anti-inflammatory properties are somehow going to penetrate into the joint tissue faster and not get into the peripheral circulation and circulate systemically.
I would have to agree. There are two schools of thought on this. One from what you mentioned earlier, that you put it on and it travels throughout because the skin is so vast, and it's really a highway for so many things. But I think that it has a tendency to stay where you put it. I think it's absorbed there. We are in Colorado in this situation. Your skin's incredibly dry, and it seems to grab on. I also think, and this might be a bolder moment and a non-scientific moment.
I won't believe it. Is that what you're saying?
That's okay.
Well, I think that the products seem to go where they're needed, just like everything.
Pain medicine. I'm like, how does it know?
I don't know, but if you're in pain and you rub it there, it's not likely to travel elsewhere. I think those receptors grab it because as a society, we've been without cannabinoids for the last 70 years.
Right.
And it's kind of like your body is starved. So to have them available, I think they go where they're needed. They're needed.
Where your body is so smart.
And I wish that Tamar Wise was here, our biochemist at Dixie. I'm getting nods all around because she could explain it much more elegantly than I can. But it does seem to go where you need it. So how's your hand?
It's amazing. I mean...
And by the way, Christy and Mark have never met until today. This is not. This isn't a show.
Jen and I should just leave.
Yeah, but no. This was not rehearsed. Nothing like that. We are here to share experiences, and that is awesome.
It is,
and I find that it's amazing for arthritis. Just patients are like, I don't know why, but it works, and it works so much better.
And this, for some reason, seems to be the catalyst for so many conversations, even when we were pre-legalization. Yeah, because the salve is something that an elder can use. It's not scary because it's not psychotropic.
Yes.
Our oldest customer right now, patient customer, is 91 years old.
Oh, my God,
The
wow.
youngest person I know using this is early teens.
Sure.
So anyone who's in pain can use topicals.
What's the 91-year-old use it for?
She uses it for chronic arthritis.
Hands?
Hands, feet.
You ever have them rub it on, put gloves on, go to bed?
We are a wholesaler, so the caregiver makes those kinds of recommendations. But quite honestly, I have done that. I absolutely have done that. If you have sore, painful hands, especially all of our friends in the industry who are trimming professionally.
Oh my God.
That actually on the wrist, if you can rub it in and then wrap it gently, not too tight, but with an ace bandage, it's very comforting when you wake up.
Right.
So,
Well, Mark, why would you want to do that?
Well, it helps soften my feet.
Well, that was the other thing I was going to say with the
It
lotion.
does.
You could do the
Right.
same with the lotion. It helped just soften it, hold it in, prevent it from rubbing off.
Well, and something you mentioned earlier, because you're the first person who ever taught me what DMSO is, but they
we need to talk about
banned
this.
DMSO in Colorado to mix cannabis with DMSO. Do you know why they would have done that? Or
Let's save that thought. We got to go to a
Right.
break. I'm so sorry. We'll be right back. Thanks.
Cannapunch is a delicious and effective medical marijuana beverage proudly made right here in Colorado. Each bottle is freshly infused with 100% pure flower extract from the highest grade marijuana plants available today. Using proprietary extraction methods, every bottle of Cannapunch is consistently and reliably infused with an exact milligram dosage that you can count on to relieve your symptoms each and every time. Cannapunch is delicious. There's never any medicine-y taste. We use only 100% cannabis flowers. No trim or byproducts are ever used in Cannapunch. It does not require refrigeration and comes in convenient, resealable multi-dose bottles from 60 milligrams to 200 milligrams. We have drinks with dosage that works best for you. Cannapunch is available in a variety of delicious flavors like black cherry, watermelon, pineapple mango, and blue raspberry. And we now have strain-specific beverages available just for you. Cannapunch is delicious, convenient, consistent, and effective. Give it a try and experience the Cannapunch difference. In Dispensary in Colorado Springs is proud to support Overgrow the Radio. With 2 locations in Colorado Springs, In Dispensary invites you to discover what true selection and values feel like. Always featuring an incredible array of Stanley Brothers medicine as well as full line of edible and infused products. In Dispensary is open from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. 7 days a week, 364 days a year. You owe it to your health and well-being to discover In Dispensary. West Side location at 3044 West Colorado and East Side location at 3031 East Platte in Colorado Springs. In Dispensary is your destination for indispensable quality medicine.
back in time.
And we're back. Sorry to cut you off, Jill, but I think this DMSO is very, very important. So
It's all right. I
let's
just
pick that up.
remember because I sat on the first task force and Dr. Shackelford was pretty adamant that DMSO was to be banned. And I know that that's not the only thing that does the same thing, but I'm wondering, Mark, because you first introduced Mike and I to DMSO as a great use for his issues. So why do you think they banned it?
Well, first of all, back up and let's tell people what DMSO is because people don't know.
DMSO is like a sulfur donating molecule, kind of in the family of glucosamine sulfate. And those sulfur molecules are good for rebuilding cartilage and connective tissue. DMSO was originally a horse liniment, 60, 70, 80 years ago. And they would rub down horses with it, and they found that they got, over their musculoskeletal pain and injury quicker. It was banned for human use for a long time. Although I remember in the 80s, somebody found some that I played football with, and it had a particularly smelly garlic corn smell.
Really?
Yes, yeah. And we played football, and we'd be in the huddle, and Mike remembers this. We're like, what is that smell? And it was DMSO he was using. But it's also a great penetrant, so it carries things into the skin. And they've been able to really refine it and make it effective. And like I said earlier, the drug companies now are using this with nonsteroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Doesn't make NSAIDs any healthier or less dangerous for your body, but they have found a way to, make a lot of money passing drugs through the skin. So I think, Jill, to answer your question, it would be great if you could use that in topicals, but I know, speaking to some of the growers, that some people use pesticides and fungicides and things on the plants that would be potentially toxic to be brought into your body, especially since you only need
now I
a
get it.
tenth of a dose to get an effect, if you just get a small amount of these fungicides, pesticides, et cetera, into your bloodstream that way, you could have a detrimental large effect.
That's why.
That makes sense.
That makes total sense. Dimethyl sulfoxide.
Which, it'd be great if everyone could test and say this is pure. Or you could get some growers who would guarantee organic test and make sure and then pass them on for you to make something very useful with DMSO.
Well, then that's very important for people at home to know. Don't run out and make a salve and put DMSO in it because you don't know what that product has in it, what that flower has in it. So please don't do that.
Well, it's really hard to get DMSO.
Is it? Because I saw some of the retailers around here carrying it.
I had to go to Vitamin Cottage,
right.
and they didn't exactly card me, but I had to beg for it, and so it was, it's used with caution.
And I'm sure, I've been in healthcare long enough. There's plenty of conspiracies about who wants to make money, similar to the paper industry. I think maybe we should get Kindle involved with hemp. They might be into it.
Now there's a brilliant idea.
Brilliant.
Right. They might. Anyway, give them a call.
Yeah. They're on my speed dial.
And so who knows if the pharmaceutical industry is behind, let's put DMSO on the back shelf and not let people get it. Mm-hmm. We've seen similar things with red rice yeast and the statin drugs. All of a sudden you couldn't get red rice yeast in America anymore. So conspiracy.
And the real important moment here is, what do we do with the education piece of this? I mean, there's a reason why we don't have DMSO in the products. And will we, if that ban is lifted and we can get unadulterated cannabis to make products, maybe that's a subline, that's a niche product for someone who's in extreme pain.
Absolutely.
Because these products work best with smoke therapy or with edible therapy. Mm-hmm. They absolutely do.
But immunocompromised would not want to. But yeah, right now, no products have DMSO in them. Now, is there something? So again, any of the other products that would work like DMSO, again, will still drag those bad components.
Yeah, I would imagine that anything that's pulling it in is going to bring it all in.
Right.
Especially if they're fat soluble, which I'm sure most of the pesticides and things are.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you, Mark. You are also an acupuncturist as well.
Uh-huh.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that.
If you were to use a lotion, salve, massage oil kind of product first and then do acupuncture, how does that change the mode of operation for a topical? Does it help to put it deeper into the skin? Is there any collaborative assist with that kind of product?
I've never thought of that, but let me... I don't think I'd use it first, only because I'm puncturing the skin and I don't know that it would cause an infection.
Right.
But if someone got an infection, I would be to blame.
So applying it after.
I would probably apply it after. Now, the puncture holes close up pretty quickly.
Right.
Although I've used some Chinese herbs topically after needling, and people sometimes feel the burning sensation more because still the hole is present.
I like burning.
You like that?
Because something's working. I know that's silly, but it's like, oh, that's working.
This is a room full of cynics. You have to prove it to all of us.
Right. Now, part of the benefit and part of the mechanism of action of acupuncture is to create a local inflammatory reaction.
Right.
And that stimulates the healing process. So when I needle people, I tell them not to use anti-inflammatories, topical or oral, in any way. And I know some of the properties of these topicals are anti-inflammatory.
They are. So it sounds like this is not necessarily a good fit for acupuncture therapy. And one great point that I'm glad that you brought up with the salve, massage oil, or a lotion, and most certainly the bath salt as well, is if you have an open wound, you do not want to put a topical remedy on that. You want it to scab over.
Really?
Yes, simply because of you can get bacteria within your wound, and then it won't heal properly. Okay. So you have to wait till it scabs over. Now, I'm immediately thinking of like something like Rick Simpson oil that is a cooked down version that you're seeing amazing results with skin cancers. Yeah. So, there's with any kind of treatment, there's a little bit of risk. And it's whether or not you're willing to accept that risk and keep an eye on it. So I know those kinds of protocols. For me, if I have an open little sore and it's just about scabbed open, yeah, I'll probably jump the gun. But for someone who has a skin cancer or something like that, that should be observed under a trained medical professional.
Okay. So really it should be after you have scabbed over. Yeah. Unless you've done it before and,
Yeah, I think keeping an eye on things as well.
Yeah.
So
I agree, especially with the amount of, antibiotic-resistant infections these days that are really rampant. And I've seen patients who've just bumped their arm, didn't break the skin, and now have staph.
Oh, my God, really?
Yes, I recall this gentleman, no open lesion, and so I don't know. And I just heard something on NPR recently, 100,000 deaths a year from hospital-acquired infections. So I agree with you. I think it's probably better these days to let things close over, unless you've done this before, unless you're going to take responsibility for your own health, which seems to be an issue in America.
Yeah, let's take responsibility for our own health. Oh, my God, really?
Absolutely.
Hey, my thumb feels great, by the way.
I'm so pleased to hear that.
You're moving it. You're moving it pretty good.
I'm amazed. I want to maybe carry that in my office.
Why don't you take that home?
Okay. I will.
So, Mark, I have a question, though. Like, what are your other chiropractors and alternative health care providers, how are they feeling about medical marijuana these days? Is it something they're recommending to clients? Are they still hesitant? Or, we've been here for 10 years with medical, 3 with the dispensary system. What's going on in your side, I guess, complementary and alternative medicine?
I think we're more open to it. I think I don't know specifically numbers. I'm just going to guess from talking with my colleagues and being around it that a great majority, probably close to 90%, are supportive of it. Topicals, certainly, different delivery methods. I know the ones I've spoken with, colleagues in Boulder, we recommend it. We can't write for it, but we know a lot of people. I mean, I had this 79-year-old asking me about it the other day. I've never told anyone that it's not good for them. I do talk about the psychoactive effects of it because I see plenty of people who get high on Advil and can't take it or don't like the effects of narcotics. And so I kind of screen them that way. And if they don't like those effects, they don't like those effects. And so everything's not for everybody.
That's right.
But,
that's right.
Yeah. And so it's no different. It's just this is natural. That's a chemical. So as a healthcare provider, I think you have to be judicious in who you recommend it to and let them know what's going on with it. But I think the majority of CAM providers are certainly supportive of it. Now, Jill, remember I sent you that article a couple weeks ago. The medical doctors
still not so supportive.
Not so much. Still very cautious, worrisome. Although, and I hate to keep bringing up these negative statistics in healthcare, but the American healthcare system kills more people than more than a lot. Certainly more than marijuana.
Yeah.
So,
but again, and these doctors, I can't believe I'm coming to their defense, but it comes full circle because if they say something, they could get sued, and it's like you really do have to manage your own health care. You have to look up your own symptoms. You have to bring this to the attention to people, and I think slowly but surely we're definitely making headway with cannabis, and it starts with people like you, Mark, who you can just have a nice conversation when you're adjusting somebody. Hey, do you have pain? Hey, just wondering, what do you think about this? And have you tried it? And just to get the conversation going. I know that on the back of my business cards, I have quick facts about cannabis because I want people that I don't talk to every day to go, wow, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know you couldn't die from it. I didn't know there was other ways, because, of course, on the news, all they show are people smoking. I'm so sick of that.
Yeah, right. With
so
the bong
sick of that.
next to
Oh,
them.
yeah, with the bong or the blunt. And it's like, no, there's capsules, there's ice cream, there's, gel caps, I mean, there's everything. So I just think we just need to continue talking about it. And that starts, with you. And you could even take a neutral position. You don't have to say either way,
Right, and sometimes I do take a neutral position, and I talked about both sides of the fence with people. So, it's I don't want to make anyone's decisions, whether it's, here, take this vitamin or take this. It ends up having to be a personal choice, and just informing people.
It really does. And we got to go to break. We'll be right back. Thanks.
iVita Wellness is committed to compassionate patient care while providing the highest quality medicine at an affordable price. At iVita Wellness, patients can get top shelf ounces for $150 every day. iVita Wellness also carries pharmaceutical grade pure CO2 oil. iVita Wellness is located in Uptown Denver on 1616 Pearl Street, open 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. You can reach us at 303-952-9150 or our website at www.ivitawellness.com. iVita Wellness is Denver's compassionate care center.
Show in Boulder.
All right, and we're back. So basically, I asked them to talk to me about other skin problems, right?
Yeah.
Like eczema and psoriasis. Now, I do
Or
know
burns
this.
even.
Or burns.
Oh, yeah.
Burns. I do know this. My original business partner had a growth on his face. And it was little, but it was a little different than a mole. And he put hash oil, boop, straight on it, and that sucker fell off, completely fell off.
Interesting.
So
I would like to try that with a wart.
I would like you to
Yeah.
try that with a wart.
I would
Contact
too.
with me. Yeah, if we could find a wart in the building, we could.
Yeah.
And somebody with some hash oil probably wouldn't be
Literal
terribly
or
difficult.
figurative?
No.
So, in higher concentrations, cannabinoids do have the effect of kind of sweeping, being a house cleaner. And that's not my field of expertise at all. I mean, I'd have to do some research to really speak to that. But it's the hash oil, the Rick Simpson oil, those kinds of things, and how they work with the skin. With burns, you absolutely have to wait until they have crusted over before trying any kind of topical remedy, due to the nature of that kind of ailment. But for things like psoriasis, and
Yeah.
were you saying that you have some eczema?
I have psoriasis on my scalp.
Okay. So, I find that it's pretty hit and miss. I think some exfoliation has to take place to make the cannabinoid levels that are in these pain relieving topicals. You have to keep in mind these were formulated specifically for pain relief.
Right, versus taking away the skin infection kind of thing.
Exactly.
I'd still like to try it. I mean, obviously it flares up at different times of the year, and it's been really bad now because it's been so dry here. Right. And usually it's change of the seasons, but I really should take some tincture or something and try it.
And maybe just gently exfoliate the scalp prior.
Oh, that's no problem.
No.
I'm just kidding.
And here's a really, really good point. You have to manipulate the skin very gently. It is the largest organ in your body. And it may be something like, I wouldn't even recommend the bath salt, but some kind of topical scrub, and then putting probably a massage oil would be the best fit for the scalp. And it would have a mild conditioning effect for those lovely locks of yours.
Really?
Yeah.
I could see the bath salts being actually very good for dry skin, eczema, psoriasis, things like that.
And these are simply my most favorite product. They do have some clay
Yeah, I saw
and
that.
the baking soda, the magnesium help to pull toxins from your skin. I hurt myself quite badly moving a dresser by myself. And
Of course, you were moving a dresser by yourself.
yes, I
Christie.
was. Well, I'm not a good listener. That's my
Wait,
problem.
Me neither.
Wait is not in your vocab.
Yeah, wait.
Christy, I'll help you in a minute.
And
Trash.
you know, a deep soak in the bath salts is amazing pain relief. But for psoriasis, that's a really good point because so many of the other ingredients in this can help with other skin issues. Not only the essential oil blend, but we have volcanic ash, the sodium bicarbonate, which is essentially a baking soda, Epsom salt, sea salt, and then the cannabis and lobelia blend.
What does someone need to buy that? Do they need a card?
Currently, because
To buy, they need a card.
to purchase, they need to have a red card because Dixie is completely compliant with 1284.
For me to give somebody something, we could do that. So I would love if you out there have eczema, maybe in your what is that called? On the inside of your elbow.
Antecubital fossa.
Oh yeah, that's of
course.
Any
Could you just-
anti-cubital blah 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 on the other side of your elbow, eczema, or under your knees, or something like that. Reach out to me at Jennifer@canlabs.com, Genifer@canlabs.com, and we'll see if we can get you some bath salts.
I recommend Epsom salt all the time, and I have psoriasis that flares up and take baths in Epsom salt, and it helps. I'd like to try it with your concoction.
We'll have to arrange something. And even for foot baths, this is incredibly
Oh,
effective.
foot baths, and I just bought a foot bath thing.
It's amazing. If you have restless leg syndrome,
I do.
and
Sometimes.
this,
I had it last night.
this is about 2 baths worth of therapeutic salt. But if you
Even
are
for
just
a little footy thing.
well, for a foot bath, this would be about 4 uses.
4. Okay.
Yeah, and it is.
I have some at home, so
Absolutely
I'm gonna
amazing.
try that. But yeah, I love. See what we're doing in the cannabis industry is trial and error. I mean, I hate to say it, but that's what happened before. Medicines. A lot of medicines come from. Researching for something else, right? That they find out, wow, well, that's good for that. So it's just trial and error. And the more notes for you out there that are taking things, the more notes and journaling and stuff you can do, the better it is for everyone. Because I would love for somebody to try this on their eczema.
I have a great idea.
Good.
The medical industry's considering. It'll take them 50 years to figure this out. But
Yeah.
instead of drug trials, which are so costly, they now know that social media is a great way to get a zillion people giving response back about drugs. If someone out there could create a portal where patients who are trial and erroring
You know
things
what?
could upload information about, hey, I did this and it worked, and somehow we could start to consolidate those analytics and
It's so interesting that you
speed
said
that up.
because I was just in Boston speaking at the National Cannabis Industry Association with Jessica from MJ Freeway. Wonderful, wonderful woman. And she was begging for somebody to create the exact same portal. So I think we need to get on that definitely because, again, trial and error. And like you said, if everybody can chime in from all over the world at one place and you see that 50 people tried this much, this many days, and it helped. That's what we need to know. That's what a clinical trial is, after all.
Right.
Absolutely, and the favorable results are wonderful and make everyone happy, but it's also good to know when things don't work.
Sure.
These didn't come about because everyone said, "Oh, I love it, fantastic stuff." They came about because this didn't work as well. I prefer this texture better. Can you up the level of cannabinoid in the products? It's the air that really teaches you.
Right.
When you're formulating, whether it be a topical or an edible or a drink, or even doing cultivation. What's appropriate? What's the most benefit?
The problem is with that, unfortunately, and we only can work with what we can work with is not consistent. See, again, when the pharmaceuticals make something, it's synthetic, they can repeat it. This is a natural plant, and a lot of these strain names are not what they are. So the only way you can get true ratios is by testing. So at least in this portal, if we could get people to at least put their exact, cannabinoid count and exactly what they took and whatever. I don't know. We need to get on that because it's so important.
That is going to be the dilemma, though. You're right. Because people are going to be self-reporting, and you're not going to know what they started with.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Right. Well, somehow you create a registry where they do have to somehow put something in there. To give you a least common
Christie,
denominator.
you're going to be right on that, right?
Yeah, Christy, you don't have enough to do there, Dixie.
Get
it done.
I've got a couple other things ahead of that project, but
no, I think.
But it's products we know are homogeneous, and Jen tests them, so that's who we need to start with is companies like Dixie and other companies that we know are testing, and we know they know what's in their product,
and they're consistent.
And even though these products are incredibly consistent, there are variables within this sample. And I agree. Having a company like Dixie that does a lot of lab testing, it's absolutely appropriate. And if we started that on a really small scale, like go to the Facebook page. You like the topical, you don't like the topical, that is such an important resource for me when we're doing new product formulation or we're looking at something with a new lens, is to understand how the end user, whether it's a patient, because we currently serve patients exclusively.
Exactly.
Or whether it's an adult use person in January. We'd like to be ready for that. So Jen, I just want to thank you for the opportunity to come on and talk about my most favorite thing that we do at Dixie, which is topicals.
Yeah, that I know. It's truly, it's such your passion, though. I mean, for those of you out there, Christy has made me some oil for my face, and I have oily skin, but she's made me a concoction of oil that I use as moisturizer. It's been absolutely phenomenal. I mean, you really love this, which is awesome.
I'm glad you like it.
It's very few of us who get to do what we love in life and get paid for it, right?
Right.
Now, Mark, what do you use a lot of topical therapy with chiropractic? Being a chiropractor, or how does that work?
I have in the past. I don't really carry anything in the office currently, but I recommend things to people. And I'm every patient, I tell them Epsom salt baths. I'm a big high dose of it, though, two cups per bath.
And that's a really excellent point, Mark, because you can take the half dose of the THC version and combine it with 2 cups of Epsom salt.
That's a great idea.
And then you get the multiple benefit. Yes, I would prefer if there were more Epsom salt in this, but it's a packaging issue. It's very heavy.
Sure.
It's to transport, to package, and that's a really excellent point.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
I would use
so you
that
can mix them
all day in the office
definitely.
if I could have patients, if I could prescribe that and give that to patients. I would. And I've used other, topical Chinese things I can get easily, Tiger Balm and stuff like that. And people generally do well with that. And I think part of it's just the actual self-massage, getting some circulation going. But certainly with these medicinals, much more.
I would love it if when I went to get a massage, if they asked me, hey, if you pay a few dollars more, I can use cannabis-infused products. I'd say... Perfect.
Let's call Massage Envy.
Yeah. Yep, I got them on my speed dial too. No, I'm actually gonna talk to. I work out at a gym and they have a spa there, and I got a massage there. It was pretty nice. So I'd like to ask them, but again, they can't sell it, but they can use it themselves.
Right. And with something like this, I just simply throw this in a Ziploc bag and take it to the massage therapist. And, normally my massage therapist actually has a red card, and she's delighted when I bring in my massage oil because she has really pain in her hands from rubbing people all day, and it's like a added bonus for each of us.
Oh, right, because she gets it all in her hands too.
Absolutely.
Very cool.
Absolutely.
That's pretty, that makes me want to get a massage this week. Have you used your massage yet from the high tea?
No.
Christy and I both went to a benefit last year, almost a year ago. And bid on massages, got them, and we still haven't used them.
So Denver Relief will be coming to you soon.
Yes, I did tell Ian that actually when I was in Boston.
Good.
So What catch us up real quick on the Capitol and what they're talking about on 64?
Well,
Since the task force groups have made recommendations.
so now we have the reincarnated, a second version of the task force, which is so aptly named the Joint Select Committee.
Joint.
Yes, joint, and
joint.
it's called joint because it has both sides, the Senate and the House, both sit there. So
Right.
that's why it's called a Joint Select Committee.
Okay.
But they are going through the recommendations that were made by the original task force, rediscussing them, public testimony again, and then hopefully when this process is done, they said by the end of the month, they will draft a piece of legislation that will go to committee yet again. But they need to get something out by May 8th. So the Joint Select Committee has been meeting 4 times a week. It was 9 a.m. this morning. Tomorrow it's at 7:30 a.m., Thursday at 7:30 a.m., Friday at 1:30 p.m. And you can check the Colorado General Assembly's website and then look to the left and click on interim committee schedules, and you can see where that is.
And you can listen to them at home.
Yes, you can.
It's very important, you guys, to be listening to this, especially if you're in the state of Colorado, and come and give public testimony.
So the biggest concerns right now that I'm seeing from a consumer perspective is the cultivating in a locked and closed space. This eliminates the ability to grow outdoor in sunshine. If you have a greenhouse, but we all know those are very costly, and if you have children, you can't grow in just a greenhouse. You have to put a greenhouse in a greenhouse and lock it twice. So that's concerning. And then the definition, again, of open and publicly, so you can sit on your front porch and drink a beer and smoke a cigarette, but you're not going to be able to smoke a joint. So, yeah, you can't smoke inside with your kids. So there's some real issues going on there. So there's also an email, which I think is amend, AMEND 64 at state.co.gov. Is it? Yeah, state.co.gov, where you can email the entire task force if we'd love to hear you tell them that you'd like to grow outside and use the sunshine. That would be really good if we could do that.
Yes, because, of course, I was on the criminal law task force, and that did not go over so well. Now we're rediscussing it. But it's very important that people get involved and go down there 7:30 the next couple of days, and then 1:30 on Friday. And again, listen online, and if you hear something that you don't agree with, then come down the next day and give your public testimony.
And bring donuts.
And bring donuts. Not for me, but for Jill. Bring me... No, I'm kidding. Okay.
Breakfast burritos.
Breakfast burritos.
And kombucha.
And kombucha. The juice of life.
Who is opening a... kombucha, and I don't know that it's that exact same company, but I just read an article that there's a kombucha factory coming to Boulder that's going to infuse with cannabis.
This is GT's, I think.
I think this company is called Atlas or something along those lines.
Yeah, but that would be incredible. As everyone out there already knows, I am a kombucha freak. I love kombucha. It is an acquired taste. I mean, it's pretty vinegary, but it's literally life in a bottle.
It is. It
Isn't
is
it?
literally life in a bottle.
It is.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. So, Jill, what questions do we have today?
All right, I've got an evil one for the last one.
An evil?
Yes. The first one is, why is the 50-50 CBD to THC ratio the most effective topical to use for most people? Number 2, why did Colorado ban the use of DMSO in topical medical marijuana products? And 3, what is the proper scientific name for the inside of your elbow?
Nice.
Oh, my God. And I even
We answered 2 of those questions already, so just answer the one. You missed it. Sorry.
Oh, my God. No, those are great questions. One more time.
Why is the 50-50 CBD to THC ratio the most effective topical to use for most people? Number 2, why did Colorado ban the use of DMSO in topical medical marijuana products? And 3, what is the proper scientific name for the inside of your elbow? Remember, it's a trip to Cannabis Cup, airfare credit, free hotel, worth doing the homework.
Free hotel at the Marriott downtown Denver. Come on now. And if we can work it out, either Jill or I will be picking you up from the airport if we can work that out.
That'll be Jen.
So that would be me. That's totally fine. Anyway, it's been a great show. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Christy, for coming in.
Thank you very much for having me. And Christy, my thumb feels awesome. It
I'm
really
so
does.
pleased.
My wife
so
just
great.
texted me. She sprained her ankle. She's like, bring some of that home.
Done.
See, that's fantastic. And we do need feedback from that. So, like I said, anyone out there in Colorado, you need to be in Colorado because I can't ship it, has eczema, get a hold of me, Jennifer at canlabs.com, and we'll hook you up with some goodies from Dixie.
And Jen, I just want to thank you not only for the effort that you put into your business and making sure that cannabis medicine is safe for the patients of Colorado, but just everything you do, your efforts with the radio show, the children who have Duray's, it's really inspiring. And you're among my favorite people.
Thank you so much, Christy. And I just appreciate, I just feel so lucky to have the most amazing people here in the industry. I really do. The most amazing women, I must say, in this industry that I've ever met in my life.
And we can easily say same thing for Jill. The number of hours that the two of you ladies have put into making sure that the patients, now customers of Colorado, have safe medicine.
Yes.
It's astonishing.
Yeah, thanks, Jill. You put a lot of hard work into
Yes, you have. You really have. I love you, Jill. And I love you, Christy. All right. Well, thank you so much. And tune in next week to In the Lab with Genifer. Thanks so much.